Welcome back to another episode of BHAW Radio. We're on episode 58. I'm your host, Brian Rowan. Tonight, we've got Coach Ward on to give the much-awaited preseason update. So it's just me. I'm running the show tonight. Ty's on some vacation or something. Jordan's got some other family business going on. So I'm here by myself, but I know, Coach Ward, you're not going to disappoint. So welcome to the show.
Biro, it's good to be back, and you're saying it's just you. Like, that's disappointing, man. I've been needing to catch up. I haven't seen you since before our golf outing because you weren't here for the golf outing, obviously, and so I didn't see you then. So it's been since before that. Not that we care that you didn't show up for the golf outing or anything like that, but
for the listeners, I had a work function, and I actually texted Kevin the day after the golf outing to see if he won, and he hasn't texted me back since. So I think the answer was no, you didn't win. You were a little butthurt about it.
The West Point Wrestling Club was the big winner for the day, and that's really honestly all that matters. It's not about me or my team going for the 4-peat or whatever it was. I lost count. Not that it's important. But we didn't come in first place this year, but we came in a place, and we had a blast. And the West Point Wrestling Club had a fantastic day. Man, I would love to tell you more about it, but it's almost like you had to be there, Hero.
Well, there's a lot of great content from the day. Like you had OG, swinging on there. You had some great content. Then they had your interview of are you going to win or not? And then those stone silent the rest of the day. There's no content. And so I was waiting. When are we going to hear what happened?
That's not me. I was golfing. I was having a good time. I was with friends and supporters. I was not on Instagram. So none of that was me. I did film OG and then send that to Scott for him to post on the Instagram. That was me. That was like, OG, you got to tee one up and at least try to make contact with the golf ball here. And then for everyone that saw it, I think he made contact and the ball went at least 30 yards. But that was it. That was all Scott Green. It wasn't me. So no, I appreciate Scott, not putting us on there, getting 4th or 5th or 6th place or whatever we got. So that's a great job by Scott Green.
Yeah, watching wrestlers golf is like watching wrestlers play basketball.
It's unreal, isn't it? You can't just get mad at a golf ball and beat it. I'm going to beat you up. You have to, it takes some skill and some patience. It's a completely different sport than wrestling. So yeah, watching wrestlers golf is about watching golfers wrestle, to be honest. Yeah, it's completely out of their element. But we had a good time, successful event. Yeah, all is good.
So the last time I was up there was the 9/11 football game weekend, homecoming. It was good to see, some alumni and get into the room. The guys were, scrapping hard. It's about 5 or 6 weeks later, season's officially started. Tell us about, how everybody's doing, how the team's looking so far.
Well, maybe one of the biggest takeaways from that week is someone left a really nice Yeti backpack cooler in the wrestling room that came by there this morning. And I've been taking care of it since then. It's really good. This person's probably not going to get it back. Didn't you used to have one of those, Biro? You had one of those at one point?
I did. I think I lost it that weekend.
Yeah, you did. You may have left it in the wrestling room.
I might have.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. It's been a really good gift. Thanks for doing that. You didn't have to, but it's been fantastic.
I just assumed it was going to end up on the silent auction as one of the gifts.
And I silently bought it.
There would just be a BHAW stamp on the back of it or something, and then it's here we go.
No, I silently bought that cooler for $0. So no, really good. So what's happened with the team since then? Just more training, really. At this point, it's probably a little bit too early to start talking about, what we project and what we see, as far as who's going to be stepping into the lineup or whatever. but it's fair to say that training is ramped up in its intensity, and how much we're doing and the live wrestling that we're doing, because we really want to find out earlier, sooner rather than later this year, like what kind of team do we have. And so we've been doing a little bit more live wrestling. We've been doing several matches in the room. We've wrestled 4 to 5 matches at least. And these aren't wrestle offs by any, stretch of that phrase, but they're an evaluation tool for us and the coaches. And more importantly, they're an evaluation tool for the wrestlers to see, like, okay, like, where am I good? Where am I not so good? Like, what am I doing well that I need to keep building on? And what are some of my lesser strengths I need to kind of shore up a little bit? So we've been doing that. I mean, I can say that I'm really pleased with what we've seen. So I'm excited. I mean, I know what lays ahead for us. I know what kind of schedule and what kind of season, as far as the competition, what it looks like. So, I'm excited about what we have. I also know that, I mean, there's a ton of work for us to get ready for the type of schedule that we have in front of us.
Yeah, I was going to hit on that. I mean, based on the schedule, it's a lot different this year. There's some really, heavy hitter dual meets in the front, where I think in the past, you haven't had official wrestle offs, or maybe you did, but the guy wasn't really set. But I feel like this year, there's maybe a little bit more pressure to be the guy earlier on, because you're going to get those big matches up front. So, if you could talk about how your thought process in that a little bit, and, maybe establish the guy at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think, I think for us, we had an opportunity to schedule some out of conference dual meets, and the best time to do that is early on in the season. So, I mean, by default, that's when you're going to do it. And listen, we have 6 NCAA qualifiers on the team. Like, these guys they shouldn't need a month, 2 months of wrestling season to be ready to compete. These are veteran guys that have been around. They've wrestled at the NCAA tournament. Like, they know what it's about. So they can handle it right away. I knew that. I still believe that, and believe in them. So we're saying, look, they can handle it early. Let's figure it out early. So that means for us, like, we're going to have wrestle offs in the room, and then we're going to have our official first competitions like November 14th at the Journeyman, but we're probably going to end up sending maybe 10 to 20 wrestlers to a tournament the weekend before, November 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that, to go out and compete.
Which tournament?
Not sure yet. East Stroudsburg is an open that's available that weekend. We're going to try to get some guys in that event. I just think it'll be good for the young guys that haven't wrestled a ton to get out there and have a chance to compete and show what they can do, and coaches evaluate and see where they're at. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, in the end of the year, you're not going to make decisions on who was the best on November 6th or November 14th, but it's a chance for them to find out where they're at, so they can, like, competition is the ultimate measuring stick, and it's so honest. Like, you can't argue with results, so when they get to compete, they can honestly evaluate themselves. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I feel like I'm at. Here's what the results are saying. They're either matching up, or they're outpacing where I thought, or maybe I'm not quite where I thought I was. Whatever the case, it's a great evaluation tool. So, yeah, I think we're looking at that, maybe competing a little bit earlier to give guys a chance to figure out exactly where they stand.
Awesome. So last we talked, it was pretty much right after Beast. All the plebes had gotten through, or the new cadets, just being recognized. How's the freshman class looking? Are they adapting well? Are there any walk-ons onto the team, or kind of talk about kind of their progression so far?
Yeah, no, they're doing really well. I mean, they're adjusting just like anybody would. There's some great days, there's some pretty good days, and there's some days that you just can't wait for them to be over so you can go back and try again. But the guys are good. I mean, they're as talented as we thought. A lot of them come from the prep school, so we've known them pretty well. And yeah, maybe they're a little bit behind where a normal prep, like a freshman prepster would have been, because they didn't get a chance to compete much last year. But that doesn't change, their talent level and their desire. So, I mean, time will tell. I mean, how many freshmen we're going to see in the starting lineup, but I expect, like, I would not be surprised if it's 2, 3, 4 freshmen in the starting lineup by the end of the season. Those decisions won't be made until late January or February, but we have some freshmen that I think are pretty promising, and we have some returners that aren't interested in giving up their spot to a new guy, so that's a good thing. That builds competition, and that builds, pride in what you do. But it's safe to say, BHAW, that I'm pretty pumped about, kind of where our freshman's class is at right now. And that's why I'm excited to get them out to compete early, so we can learn some more and they can learn some more.
Mm-hmm. Are there some, I'm sure there's some pretty intense, battles back and forth, what weight classes would you say are like the most contested right now?
Well, I'll just say this, our deepest weight class is 141 by far. That's not close. There's no other weight class that's as competitive in our room as 141 pounds, where you've got guys like Corey Shy, national qualifier. And then you've got Logan Brown, who's been in and out of the lineup. You got Thomas Deck, who's been there. Didn't get a chance to compete last year. Julian Sanchez didn't get much of a chance last year. Nick Botello, who's a new young guy that, seems really hungry and eager to kind of, make his own way. Zach Keel, a freshman that's super talented, can wrestle with anybody. These guys are all really good. So somebody's got to separate themselves. But at the same time, we did not have qualifiers last year at 125 or 133. So I would consider those very competitive weights, because we need somebody to step up and say, this is my spot. I belong at the national tournament and I need to go there and win matches and get on a run. And then we lost a qualifier. We didn't have a qualifier at 65 either. So, say what you want about that, up for grabs. We lost a qualifier, graduated at 84. And 97, even though heavyweight, even though Ben Sullivan's back. So those weights, are super competitive. Those heavyweights between Ben Sullivan, Brandon Phillips, Paul Robinson, Eric Kazian, those four guys are all really good. And then you have a freshman, Cade Carlson, there at heavyweight that looks very promising as well. It's like, that's a heck of a, 5-man group for heavyweight, in a wrestling room, in a practice room. So, every weight is kind of up for grabs and kind of looking to see who separates themselves, especially at those weights where, we didn't have a qualifier last year. We need to see a little bit more, 25, 33, 65. We got to step it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I saw some of the recent workouts. I saw you guys did the notorious ski slope workout. It's adjusted a little bit. Now it's like, maybe you guys have been doing it like that way for a few years, but now it's like you start from the bottom by the river and then you go all the way up.
Start from the bottom.
Start from the bottom. Now we're here. No, back in my day when we did it, we did like several ski slope sprints, not all the way up. It'd be like a quarter up, 3 or 4 times, and then from the bottom it'd be like all the way up. From the bottom of the ski slope. It wasn't like just like a 4-mile run kind of thing. Yeah.
You guys did things differently, like in the late 90s. But like you looking back on those memories, you're getting a little bit older now, BHAW. So I'm sure it's fond memories, but yeah, we may do things a little bit differently now. I wouldn't say the guys enjoy what we do now any more than you did, but no, we start at North Dock, for those that know West Point, right by the Hudson River, and run to the top, the highest elevation at West Point. So it ends up being about, 2.5 miles total, and about 1,000 feet of elevation change over 2.5 miles. Where the last, it's like 0.6 miles, ends up being about 600 feet of elevation gain. The ski slope is brutal. Once you get there, it's on, Nate Lucas crushed it. I didn't time him individually, but probably 20 minutes, something like that, absolutely unreal, maybe less than 20 minutes. And then, a lot of people make it 20 to 30 minutes. It's a tough run for sure. But we like to do that, and shout out to Bobby Hild for reminding me that we needed to do that this year. That was all Bobby Hild's idea. So he was like, hey, coach, these guys haven't ran the ski slope. We need to do that. I was like, hey, let's make it happen. Sign them up. Let's go.
Do the prepsters do those workouts too, as an RTC workout, or is that just
not with us? They may do them now. If Lieutenant Lane Peters is in charge, they're probably doing that workout 3 or 4 times in a row. Yeah, no, they don't do that with us. They might do it on their own, but they didn't do it with us.
I saw Lane did the workout though. It looked like he hasn't necessarily adjusted to the dramatic weight gain.
Well, Lane Peters as a 133 or 141 pounder would have been at the very front. Lane Peters as a retired 133, 141 pounder who's now weighing what he claims is about 170, which probably 180 to 190. Yeah, he was like somewhere in the middle of the pack, like the 30-minute mark. I mean, LP, here's the thing. Even at like what I think is maybe 180-ish for Lane, he's still probably like 5 or 6% body fat. I mean, the dude is jacked. He's huge. He just looks a lot. He looks like he ate the old Lane Peters. is what it looks like. Hey, he made it. That's more than I can say. I didn't run it. So good on Lane. He made it to the top.
Nice. So speaking of Lane and the Prepsters, are you guys able to do RTC workouts a little bit? Like
we've had some more RTC workouts. We like our RTC workouts, big part of our program. We like to be able to do it. I think it's fundamental to us being able to grow into what we want to do. Pleased with, all RTC athletes that show up. And so we've been able to do it and it seems pretty good so far. Like what we see.
Nice. So I guess looking at the schedule, from now till the first competition, we're looking like, are you guys doing like 6 days a week practice or 7 days, or kind of what's it look like from now till the start of the season for the guys?
So typically we'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday will be on their own. Then we'll work them out in a structured way Friday and Saturday, and then let them have Sunday on their own as well. So we're doing structured workouts 5 days a week. And in that 5 days, that could be 10 workouts in that 5 days. And then the other 2 days of the week, they're on their own. But I mean, I was in the room today. I had a couple individual sessions with guys. And then I was in the room this afternoon and watching, I don't know, another 10, 15 guys, getting individual drill sessions in. So even when we say it's on your own, like it's not a team workout or whatever, I mean, the guys that really want to be good are in there working out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the people that really want it are in there. There's no question about that.
As that gets closer to the start of the season, do you adjust it at all, kind of leading up to the first competition?
So, I mean, typically the way that I'll look at as we lead into competition, I kind of backwards plan, like, if our competition is on day 0, I'll look at 1 day out, 2 days out, 3 days out, 4, and go back all the way to maybe like 10 or 12 days out and kind of plan what the progression looks like as we get closer to competition day. So yeah, it changes. It doesn't stick with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. If we compete on a Sunday, that changes things. But, I mean, we circle those dates of competition on the calendar and then kind of plan backwards from there. Like, what do we want to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days out of competition to make sure that we're ready to go. So yeah, that changes. This is a pretty consistent, like, preseason schedule that we're on. And then it changes as we get into competition mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I saw Chandler Smith was able to come in and get some workouts with you guys. How bad did you beat him on the bike?
Oh my God. Let me listen. I mean, obviously Chandler beat me on the bike. Chandler's going to beat me at anything that we do competitively. Like, you name it, Chandler is better at it than I am.
Golf.
I could beat Chandler in golf. Yeah. And that may be the only thing on the planet that I'm better at than Chandler. But no, so, I mean, he beat me up on the assault bike. But listen, when we got done with the assault bike,
that was the warm-up.
He beat me, like, actually though, but he beat me by like 13 or 15 calories or something like that. And we did an hour straight. We just started in an hour. We said, give me some nucks. Let's go for 60 minutes. Let's go. And 60 minutes later, he would beat me by like 15, 20 calories, something like that, which isn't a lot,
Just a minute on the bike.
Yeah. But the difference was when we got done, I was dead. Like, I was like, that was a tough hour. And then we get off the bike and I just want to lay down. And Chandler's like, all right, I'm going to go get some medicine balls and get some lunges and stuff. Chandler works out for like another 30 minutes. and then comes back in the afternoon and goes through the entire practice 2 hours later. Okay, maybe 3 hours later, whatever it was, but goes through the entire practice in the afternoon. And I'm just like, I'm depleted. I'm like, I'm done. I'm obviously not a professional at fitness like Chandler is, but hey, it was so hot and like muggy in the room that day. And I told Chandler, like, I lost 6 pounds in an hour wearing like tights and a t-shirt, no sweats or anything. 6 pounds.
I didn't see a t-shirt either, or just the video. You weren't wearing the top was popped.
Well, Chandler started that. And I was like, I can't, what am I doing taking my shirt off next to Chandler? Like, this makes me look like way worse. Like, who would do that? But it was,
no, you look good. You look good.
It was so hot and like muggy in the room that day. We got to like 50 minutes, so it was 10 minutes left and my hands are cramping on the assault bike. Like, I can't not grab the handles because my fingers are like wrapping around the handles, are cramping. And Bobby Hild walked through the room and I was like, Bob, do we have any drinks? And he goes and checks in the fridge in the team room and he's like, all we have is milk. And I was like, I'll take 2 of them. So I'm exhausted, like 50 minutes into a workout, and Chandler and I are drinking whole milk out of cartons with like 10 minutes left. That's how hot it was in the room. Like, I got to get some fluids, man. This is tough. I'm not sure how I got into the weeds of that story, but yeah, Chandler smoked me on the workout, as he should. He's a professional at exercising and fitness and one of the best on the planet. And like I told Chandler, look, man, Chandler, I don't train. I exercise, man. That's it. Like, I just want to feel good and make myself think, that I'm an athlete. Like, Chandler actually has to prove that he's an athlete against other people. So there's levels to that game, and he is way above me.
So I guess looking forward at like talking about wrestle offs a little bit, and some of the, I know some weight classes are more competitive than others. If you could dive in a little bit, not necessarily specific names or anything like that, but like how are you going to determine the guy for the first competition? Will that partially be the open tournament the week before? Like, hey, if a weight class is close, we're definitely going to send the 2 or 3 guys that are that are in the run, and the guy that performs the best is going to be the guy for the first, for the journeyman. Or
so journeyman, we're going to take everybody. Journeyman is like, it's basically an open tournament, but everybody's going to go round robin style. So everybody should get 3, 4, 5 matches on that day. That will be a piece of the evaluation for sure, without a doubt. If we send them to an open tournament the weekend before, that's a piece of the evaluation, and then now what they do from 3 weeks ago and today into what they do leading up to those tournaments, that's also a piece of the evaluation, So, I mean, our first dual meet's at Penn State. Like, so who can step off the scales an hour after weigh-in and go out there and represent our program the way we expect? That's what it's going to come down to. And there's a lot of pieces of evaluation that go into that. But, I believe in our guys and I believe in our team, and whoever we send out is going to fight like hell. They're going to believe they have a chance to win, and they're going to fight to make it happen. So that's non-negotiable. That should be everybody. And it's going to be who's positioned themselves, the best to be rewarded with stepping out there and being able to compete and represent our program. We'll make those decisions, hopefully. Like I told the team this the other day, B-Row, like, I don't want to make any decisions, to be honest. I mean, decisions can sometimes be hard, and yeah, it's easy to say, well, you get paid to do it, but I would much rather not make a decision. I want the guys on the team to make the decision for me, like, make it clear, this is your weight class. But if I have to step in and make a decision, then I'll do it. And it may not be until the day of that dual meet. We'll have to find out.
So I saw Scott was on the recruiting trail a little bit. If you can talk to a little bit.
That's not to you, B-Row. I got a couple of boys running upstairs from the basement. So I was giving them the shush. You can ask your questions. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I bring up Scott. I saw he was on the recruiting trail a little bit. Anywhere specific he was going other than probably Pennsylvania, because that's where the studs are. But
man, I'm not sure the rules. What are we allowed to say? He was definitely recruiting at an event in Pennsylvania last week. He's and the week before, and he's going to be on the road coming up. Going to visit some guys this coming week, as well as we're recording this on a Thursday night. I'm flying down to I land in Atlanta tomorrow evening, and I've got some work to do there in Atlanta for a few days, or around the Atlanta area. And then Joe D'Angelo and I are going to Super 32. Like, it's recruiting season, so we're all over the place. All of us, we're going to be on the road, and we got to get out there. Recruiting's going really well. Like, really, really excited about the guys that we have. So, yeah, I mean, we're pumped about it. We're going to pedal to the metal, keep recruiting nonstop. That's safe to say.
Are you guys still having recruits in on the weekends or?
Yeah, man, we're still running them through. We've got 3 or 4 guys coming on campus next Friday, and then the week after that as well. Yeah, so we've got big plans. Like, it's a combination of seniors and juniors that are coming to campus. So, no, it's going good. There's a lot of excitement. We're pumped to be able to have guys back to visit us. Excited to show them, what's going on with our program right now, because there's so much to like and so much for a recruit to be excited about. So, yeah, we're going full throttle.
I guess this will be the last question I have before I let you go, just kind of dive into whatever you want. But Jesse Dellavecchia, having him in and rolling around. I mean, I'm super excited for, being from, we have studs everywhere, but 49 to 74, we have some very, very talented guys who can make a lot of steam in NCAAs, and feel like with him there, they should be poised to take the next step, and get on the podium. So I want to get your thoughts on that and how he's been in there.
Jesse is even better than I thought. Like, I mean, the dude loves wrestling, which, should be obvious to anybody that watched him compete over the past couple of years. But not only does he love wrestling, like, he loves learning wrestling. And that shows in the way that he teaches. Like, you can tell when he teaches that he really learned a lot. Like, everything wasn't natural for him. Like, he really had to work to figure out what was going to work for him, what he wanted to do, what fit his style. So when he starts teaching something, he can tell you, oh, here's what I did to learn it. And that's exciting. Guys relate to that. And he's obviously so good. And to be honest, like, it's pretty easy to gain respect in the wrestling room when you can kick everybody's ass, and like, Joe can still beat a lot of people up. But me and Scott, we're retired. We're not beating anybody up on a daily basis. So, like, having Jesse in there that can beat anybody up in the wrestling room, all of a sudden, like, guys want to listen to him. Like, they'll listen to him in a different way than they listen to me or Scott, because we're not wrestling with them. And they're like, well, I want to know what Jesse's doing, because he just kicked the shit out of me yesterday. So, like, let me hear from Jesse. So having him in the room, man, it's been really awesome, because not only is he a good wrestler, but he's got a good mind for the sport too, and understands the process he went through to become elite. And now he's sharing that process with other guys. So a lot of fun to watch, man. He's enthusiastic. He loves it. He's in the room nonstop. I mean, couldn't be happier with adding him to our staff.
Has he felt the strength of Pazuka yet? Do you have any backstory?
I mean, if you want to call him beating Pazuka 11-2 in a match 2 days ago, then yeah, he felt the strength. But I looked at the match, I looked at the scores, and I think that Jay Della came out like 11-2 on top. He may have even written down, like, with a pen in there somewhere too. So yeah, he's felt the strength, and I think he's feeling pretty confident as well.
Pazuka's, he's got some work to do then.
Pazuka's got some work to do. Yeah, I mean, if it's not obvious, I mean, he left St. Louis last year empty-handed, so there's work to do. When you're that good and you're not getting the results that you wanted, there's work to do. He is capable 100%. And if he does the work, he's going to get it done this year. Zero doubts in my mind, and Jesse's going to help him.
That's good stuff to know. Jenny, before we head out, anything?
Where is Ty Reedy? I want to know why. I mean, not that I care that it's just you and me, B-Row, because like it's good to catch up. But where is Ty Reedy tonight? I mean, I've been watching all these episodes and Ty's on here hosting, and like, where you at, Reedy? He's been texting me, hey, what'd you think of my episode? How am I doing as a host? And now when I come back on the show, he's not even here anymore.
He's been out for a while. I mean, one he was like, oh, I'm in a conference in Phoenix, and then next week I'm in a conference in Dallas. This week, it's fall break. He's going on a trip with the fam.
I mean, how many conferences do you have, Ty? And they don't have Zoom at conference location. Listen, if I had my phone next to me right now, I would FaceTime Ty Reedy right now and find out. But
yeah,
I'll just say
he's probably in a hotel.
To have Reedy back. If it wasn't out of respect for Alex, his lovely wife, we would be calling him right now. But we'll let them enjoy fall break and look forward to having Reedy back on the show.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, I'm doing this in a hotel room. So
yeah, I mean, we know that because you have the hotel paintings usually behind you, like you're sitting in front of the hotel Keurig, not that fancy Keurig that you're sitting in front of right now. There's usually not a cat, you know, like jumping on the back of your chair when you're in a hotel room. So
Willie was here earlier. I don't know what happened to him.
Oh, we saw him. Don't worry.
It
could be up to like 48 listeners now. Like 4 dozen people saw Willie.
Did you get a chance to listen to Jordan's surprise episode?
I haven't yet. Oh my God, I'm such a bad fan. I haven't. I keep a backlog though. Like I don't listen to them as soon as they come out, but when I get on the treadmill, like I play an episode I've got the BHAW radios at the top of my podcast, but I got a few other, and I just kind of like rotate through as I'm in podcast mode, but I haven't caught up to that one yet.
Well, I'm glad you didn't listen to it during your hour bike ride with Chandler, because at about the 50-minute mark when you were dying of thirst.
No, I was drinking whole milk at that point out of the carton.
He spent about 10 minutes going through his brew making process of his kombucha. So you would have been like dying for thirst even more.
I would have been dying. That would have been miserable. We weren't listening to that. And it's pretty like, you guys know this, Chandler and I were listening to the Troubadours. So it was like Turnpike Wednesday in the wrestling room. And Chandler and I were getting after it. And let me tell you, Chandler went through the entire wrestling practice that afternoon. Like, I can't tell you how much, if you're a fan of Army Wrestling, you got to be a fan of Chandler Smith. Look him up, become a fan, support him any way that you can. The guy's absolutely freaking incredible. And for him to come back and get back to our program and talk to our guys and give them some wisdom like he did, can't say enough about that guy. I mean, like, they don't get any better on planet Earth. So we were pumped to have Chandler back. That's one last plug for him.
Yeah, and it looked like from the footage, I mean, he was holding his own wrestling too.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the guy? I just asked Clay. I was like, hey, Clay, is he strong? Or is he just one of those guys that looks strong, but he's not very strong? And Clay was like, no, he's freaking strong.
How big's Clay?
He's really, really strong. Clay's a 65-pounder, and so is Chandler. Incidentally, the last time he weighed in for college wrestling, he was a 165-pounder. Now he's closer to 200. So
yeah, I was gonna say he's probably about 2 bills. He's pretty thick these days.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Coach, appreciate you coming on. It's good as always. Chick will probably be upset we didn't go line by line for every single person in the lineup.
Well, did he even submit any questions?
No, but that's on me. Actually, like 30 minutes ago, I was like, shoot, I should have solicited questions for this, but I was
okay. You can't solicit questions. Solicit feedback for the next episode, and Chick, I got you. Hit me up. Let me know the questions. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, part of it was of the 4 dozen listeners we have, there's probably some, there's probably a Navy listener or 2. I didn't want to get too in depth with some specifics to where they could try to, scout a little bit better.
Yeah, we headlocks and lat drops. That's pretty much what we've been working on. Yeah, and Granby's from bottom. That's all we do.
Awesome. Well, Granby's on bottom. I'll leave on that note. Appreciate you coming on. Episode 58. Hopefully I think it's gonna be live tonight. So for the fans out there, appreciate you listening. BHAW.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, BHAW.
Thanks for tuning in to the BHAW Radio Show. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. If there's something you'd like to hear on a future show, reach out to us on any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Or you can reach us at email, bhaw.radio@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and as always, go Army, be Navy.